What's up, guys? It's DTMB Randomness with the last part to the Heather story. As you guys have found out in the first three parts to this story, Heather used to pick us up at Job Corps, me and my little brother. Then she was going out with my little brother, and that's how I kind of started getting to know Heather. But never really got to know Heather while that was happening for the most part until one summer vacation we had there, which was during Job Corps. You'd get a summer break, and there was two parties. I got to put this down a little bit. There's a cop up ahead of me, and I don't want him to see me talking on my phone. But yeah, there was two parties. One where I got in a fight with Heather's ex-husband, which was not a real good reason to get to know somebody, but that's where it kind of began. The next one was a party where my brother had pissed off Heather, and I got to know Heather at that party. But like I left off, guys, I told you guys it had been 2 or 3 years later before I actually started talking to Heather. Again, I was talking to Amber, which was this real beautiful young girl. She was younger than me, but she wasn't like underage. She was just younger than me. She was kind of immature, kind of I don't know, she was beautiful, but immature in a way. But anyways, I was on her Facebook. We were talking, and I seen Heather's name pop up as somebody you might know because Heather was friends with Amber. That's how I found out that Amber and Heather were cousins, and I sent Heather an invite to Facebook to become friends. Did I think she was going to accept? No, I did not. But like the next day, she accepted. I was like, okay. After that, I sent Heather a message just saying hi, I think, or something like that, or how are you, beautiful, or something along the lines of that. And Heather wrote back, and that was the beginning of us talking nonstop for like 3 or 4 straight months. Like, I'm not even kidding you guys. From the time we got up out of bed until the time we went to bed, me and Heather would text back and forth all day long. And it wasn't always like me starting the conversation, which like in the morning time, sometimes I would even like not write her just to see if she'd write me, and she would. Like, she'd get up in the morning and she'd write me as soon as she got up, and we'd talk about everything from the kids to life to what was going on in our lives to every little thing that there is possibly to know about each other. We knew about each other in this 3 or 4 month span of talking on or texting on Facebook Messenger. We got to know each other very well because of this, and I know that this is going to be kind of crazy, but I think we both kind of fell in love with each other, and I know Heather ain't ever going to admit to that, but just by the way she was towards me in the messages and the way I was towards her in the messages, I think we both kind of fell in love with each other. And I'll tell you why that never went anywhere. Why I think that never went anywhere. But let me get to the finish of the story before I get to that point. Finally one day, I finally got the courage to ask her if she'd like to go on a date. And I'd even take her kids. And that was one of her big things. Like, anybody that had got with her would have to understand that she has 3 kids. And I didn't have a problem with that. So I asked her one day if she'd like to go out one day and go to dinner or something. And she said yes. And then like 3 or 4 hours later, she wrote me and said that her kids were going with Josh, which was their dad, and that she wasn't going to be able to go on this dinner. And I wrote her back and I said, I kind of figured something like that would happen. And she kind of played it off like she didn't mean for it to happen, but I knew it was going to happen. And that was pretty much where kind of it come to a kind of an end, maybe. But there was a little bit more to the story. During this time, I guess Heather was seeing or met this guy. Well, she couldn't have met him for very long because, like I said, me and Heather talked every single day from morning till eve about everything. She met this guy and she couldn't have been with him very long, and then they decided to get married. I was invited to the wedding, but I did not go, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But Amber asked me if I could give her a ride to this wedding, and she brought her friend Trina, which is a whole nother story. Trina's a whole nother story. But Heather brought Trina because she didn't really know me, I guess. We've never actually hung out. Or Amber brought Trina, I mean, because we never hung out before, because she was scared to drive up there with me to Heather's house. Heather had moved quite a ways away. So I was like, all right, I'll take you there. I took Amber to meet to Heather's house for Heather's wedding the night before Heather's wedding. And when I got there, I was like, Heather asked me multiple different times if I wanted to stay the night so that I could be at the wedding the next day. And finally I was like, you know what, I can't do this. I got things I got to do. I'm going to head home. Could you and your fiance that you've been with barely any, could you take me, just drive us out towards where the highway is, and I will take Trina home, and then I will head home. That's kind of where the beginning of the end of Heather and I talking became. I don't know if maybe I pissed her off because I did not go to her wedding, or that she decided I wasn't important enough to be that good of a friend. I don't know what happened. Like, I never stopped caring about her as a friend. It kind of hurt the way she did me, kind of. If she didn't want to hang out, she could have said no. We can't hang out, but we could text and be friends and stuff. But that's not really what happened. She kind of blew me off, and every once in a while I'll tell her hi or something, but normally she doesn't write me back. So that's it, guys. That's the Heather story. And let me tell you why I think that she never gave me a chance. That's because of my little brother. And apparently maybe she thought that I was like my little brother, and I was going to treat her like crap, like he did multiple different times. And that's how she felt. I would have treated that girl like a fucking angel. I fell in love with her, and whether she admits it or she ever does admit it, she fell in love with me. She fell in love with me because just by the way the messages were, the things we did, the pictures we sent, she fell in love with me. And I think the only reason she didn't give me a chance is because of my little brother. But this video is getting kind of long, guys, so I'm just going to end it there. But that is the end of the Heather story. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you watched all 4 parts. If you're just watching the last part, you need to go back to my playlist and you can watch the first 3 parts to the story, because there's a fight and an argument and some drama, and people like all those things. So this story had a little bit of all that. Romance, love, fights, drama, and arguments. This whole 4 thing did. So you guys all have a wonderful day. Hopefully you enjoyed the Heather story. I might tell the Trina story since I brought her up in this story next.